Hi guys, welcome back to TR's Tarot Talk 1111. So, yes, I will be doing a reading sometime today and it will be uploaded and posted by tomorrow. However, some very generous somebody anonymously sent me 6 new decks of cards. And the only thing that the gift receipt requested was that I do a video for each of them, unveiling them so that they can see them. I don't know. Maybe they want to buy them for themselves, or maybe they just, I don't know, to be honest. If you know who sent it, or if you sent these, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, look at these beautiful, and these are from Hay House. They sent them from Hay House. So these are the nice decks. These aren't, like the pocket version decks that a lot of these decks are that I get or that have been gifted to me. So I'm going to unbox and we're going to do a walkthrough. But I'm going to make separate videos for each one because obviously 6 decks is way too many. So they'll be peppered in amongst other readings that I'll be doing. But today, I don't know. Which one do we want to start with? I got 1 tarot deck and the other 5 are oracle decks. So I think I might start with the inner child deck. So I'm going to put the rest of these off to the side and I will make separate videos for them. This one looks really awesome too. I mean, actually they all do. But I don't have room on my table. I've got so many decks of cards. But if you are the kind, generous, loving person that sent me these 6 new decks, I am so grateful, so thankful. Usually I offer, so if you would like to donate something for the channel, like candles or little doodads to put for choice selections or a deck of cards, there is a wish list down below of things that I'd like, but I haven't updated it in a long time. I better look at it. Everything is always very welcome, and depending on the generosity, I always give a free reading. So, like this person would obviously get a full reading for donating 6 decks, but if you donate 1 deck, you get a 20-minute reading. If you donate just a little doodad, you get a 1 question reading. So, and they're free. It's a thank you from me to you for your generosity. If you'd like to check out my wish list, or just, I think I made it so that it could be altered. Again, it's been a long time since I've been to it, so I better check it before I say anything. But look at the beautiful guidebook that comes with this. So it's called The Inner Child Oracle by Amanda Lynn Aisling. All right, the box comes in a nice sturdy box. This is from Hay House Publishing, called The Inner Child Oracle. Your ultimate healing comes from within. Here's the back of the box. Let's just do a flip through. And again, I'm so thankful, grateful, grateful, grateful. So we break the seal. And let's just start. Look at how beautiful. They kind of remind me of the Moonology cards, the decoration on the back. All right, number 1. I'm going to hold them up so you can see them. This is number 44, master number 44. You know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. I'm not going to be reading from the books because that would probably take way too long. Or should I? Maybe I should, because she or he was so generous. And they wanted, the only thing they asked for in return was a walkthrough on the cards. So I must have started from the back. It says, you know the way. In this life, there will be many voices telling you the right way to go. They can be confusing and sometimes contradictory, pointing out all of the intersecting paths that you could take. Just know that this life is yours and yours alone. No one else can tell you the path that is yours to walk, for only you know the way. If you have pulled this card, then know that you are going in the right direction. In addition, this card can also mean that you might need to listen to your inner voice now regarding a future decision. Take some time to reflect on the voices that you might have been listening to. Is there one that is drowning out your own? Very beautiful. All right. The next one, 43. You do not have to go it alone. By the way, in this card deck, it tells you on how to do inner child work, because this is an inner child deck. There will be exercises and journal prompts if you're interested in getting the deck. So you do not have to go it alone. It can be a tricky thing to navigate the spaces in between. Independence and reliance. For many people, as they were growing up, independence might have been worshipped as the highest standard of personal character and personal achievement, and reliance on another may have been seen as weakness or as being overly needy. While it is good to take responsibility for ourselves, we were never meant to walk this life in solitude. If you have pulled this card, then it is time to be honest with yourself about what you need in this moment. This card might also indicate that it's time to seek professional help as well. You do not have to go it alone. I hope you guys can see I'm using natural lighting. So it's a boat out in the middle of water, away from land. Big castle there. All right, up next is you deserve to be seen. Yes, you do. Number 42. Within each of us, no matter how deep it might reside, is someone who desperately longs to be seen and cherished for who they are. This is a normal desire that is crucial to our well-being and the embodiment of our true self. It is not selfish, nor is it anything to be ashamed of. The gift of being seen is something that was meant to be given to us by children, or as children, by a trusted caregiver. But sometimes they were unable to do so. There can be various reasons for this, and even if a caregiver did love us, they might still not have been able to truly see us as we are. In truth, it can be easier to see a person through our own lens instead of letting that person show us a new view of the world. If you feel there are parts of you that would benefit from being seen, now is the time to do so. In the same way, it is healing for another to see us. It can be just as beneficial for us to see ourselves. Again, a very beautiful card. You deserve to be seen. All right, next card up is number 41. You can do hard things. It's not as impossible as it may feel. Oh my God, every time I record, either my cat gets in the way, or the birds get loud, or the dog starts barking. I'm so sorry, guys. I am an animal lover, and I hope you are too. Okay, you can do hard things. There are many things in this life that we feel we cannot or should not have to do. It can be overwhelming to think about doing something that is hard, but in truth, many things we label as hard could be more appropriately labeled as simply time-consuming or long. Sometimes not wanting to do hard things can be reminiscent of mindsets we might have had in childhood when we never wanted to clean our room or do our homework. If you have pulled this card, then you might need to reassess what has been labeled as too hard. And again, a beautiful ship out in the middle of, it looks like clouds, to be honest. Like thick, dense fog. You can do hard things. It's not as impossible as it may seem. All right. Number 40. Look how pretty these cards are. You are worthy. You are worth it all, my love. Number 40. You are worthy. Everyone longs to be worthy. We work hard to find this worth in many different places. In accomplishments, in titles, in the eyes of another. But at the end of the day, all we truly have is the worth that we attribute to ourselves. This is not to diminish the beautiful gifts that can be ours through our actions and relationships, but to say that if we do not find ourselves worthy first, we will continue to search for it elsewhere and never find acceptance or satisfaction. So again, a nice reminder that, the universe pays us what we believe we are worth. So if you don't know your own worth, then the universe will mirror that back to you in people who don't value you. Good tea, guys. It's cold here. We're getting another lake effect snow. All right, up next is 39. You are wanted. There is a home waiting within. And there is, I know the name of this. It's like wigwam or something like that, but it's made out of straw. And there is a person journeying within. It says, you are wanted. There is a home waiting within. Abandonment is a wound that many of us carry. It is a tender place within us that mourns at the prospect of rejections. Such a sweet heart beats within those who have experienced the pain of being unwanted. Be gentle with yourself in the presence of this pain. At our core, we all crave connection and to be drawn into the embrace of a beloved soul. So for those of you that follow me on this twin flame journey, abandonment was a huge trauma bond that I share with my mirror soul. You can never truly be abandoned, guys, if you always show up for yourself, and not in this hyper independence way, but in a way that just, you're gracious and loving towards self, and you kind of hold boundaries with others that don't honor that space for you. I didn't mean to give advice on each of these, but it is inner work. So number 38, you are enough. Didn't we have another one? No, it said you are worthy. You are enough. You do not have to give more. Amen, sister. I don't know why my birds get so loud. Like they're quiet all day long until I start reading. I don't know why. All right, number 38 breaks down to master number 11. Says, you are enough. Giving of ourselves is such a beautiful treasure to those who receive it. But sometimes we give more than we are able to, until there is nothing left within us to give. If you have pulled this card, then it might be time to ask yourself if you have given too much of yourself away. And you know, I did a channeling at one point, and you know, I'm always hardest on myself. But so when this came through, it really hit home, and it made me like so reassured that the clairaudience and the voices I hear in my head are truly of my higher self, or of my guides, or of a higher origin, simply because I would never tell myself this. But what I channeled was, are you giving because you love the person or the situation you're giving to? Or are you giving because you want the situation and or the person you're giving to love you back? So check your motivation or your motives for why you give, especially when you feel like you've given so much that you feel energetically depleted. All right, next up, number 37, it says, write a letter. Write a letter to your inner child. Along this healing journey, it can be helpful to write letters to your inner child. Powerful emotions can be released and expressed through letter writing, either to your inner child or as your inner child. If you have pulled this card, it's time to write a letter and listen to your intuition. And again, there's awareness exercises, self-care exercises, journaling prompts. Look at how beautiful these cards. They remind me of Rebecca. Oh, one of the other decks was from her. I can't remember her name. So write a letter as your inner child speaking to you, or as you speaking to your inner child, and see what comes up. All right, up next is today is the day. It is time to begin the journey. Yeah, motivation, right? Get up and get moving. It can seem overwhelming when you look toward the finish line of a journey you have not yet begun and see how long it will take to reach the end. But the finish line is not always where your attention belongs. It belongs in the space right in front of you. The journey begins with one step and continues with the next step and then the next, until one day you will have arrived. If you have pulled this card, then it might be time to do what you have been putting off. And you know, as it said, your focus should be right in front of you. I wanted to tell you, last night I had to go and pick my son up from wrestling. And our temperature was changing from like 48 degrees, which is unheard of at this time of year where I live. And we just got through a 5-foot snow blizzard. And all of that snow was melting, and it was creating fog, very dense fog. And the road to get to my son's high school from where I live is a long, winding country road, and it goes through the middle of the woods, literally. And it's the only way to get there from where I live. And the fog was so dense, literally, that was the only way I could navigate my way to where I needed to go, was to focus on the few feet or the few yards that I could see in front of me. So that reminds me of that. All right, up next, look at how pretty. Are those trees? No, it's a portal. It's like a golden etheric portal. Very magical looking. Number 35, there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. Always. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. If it's, I mean, we have destiny, which is unchangeable because our souls signed up for it. But even then, we had free will. Our souls signed up for it long before we came here. It's part of our soul's craving and longing to expand and grow and overcome past lives. But remember that you are a powerful conscious creator, and 90% of your world is changeable, ever changeable, because you are a master creator. So there is hope ahead. Have courage, take heart, for there is hope. Life is a journey filled with many highs and lows. Sometimes a low can be followed by another and another, until all that is remembered are the low places. It is at these times that it may seem as though there is nothing left to hope for, and all that remains are the ashes of what once was. If you have pulled this card, know that there is hope once more. Well, there's always hope because, like I said, frequency equals timelines, guys. If you're in a low vibrational timeline, raise your frequency and watch how quickly you quantumly jump into a higher dimensional timeline. It's all about what you're creating in your mind first. And if it's part of your destiny, then just learn what you can from it, because sometimes we can't alter what is fated. All right, spend time in nature. Let the beauty of nature refresh your soul. All right, let's see what this one says. The earth is a precious gift, one that provides and one that heals. Its beauty nourishes our souls, and its vibrational energy brings a steadiness to our bones. It grounds us and inspires us, gives us hope and brings wonder to our hearts, and is the great mother to all of us. If you have pulled this card, then nature is calling out to you. And you know, I'm kind of a bouge. I don't camp, I glamp. I love nature. I love nature walks. But I don't like the cold and I don't like the wet. Now, you know, I'm kind of bougie that way. And sometimes all of that has to be chucked out the window, because energetically things just kind of cling to our aura. And if water, for me, water is a big thing. I take a sea salt bath and it seems to clear my aura. But sometimes you just need to get out there and see, you know, the beauty of nature. If you feel like right now it's snowing outside again, after 5 feet of snow, we're supposed to get another 6 to 18 inches of lake effect snow, and I live right near the Lake Erie. And, you know, when you think that things are just too much and you get out in nature, you can see the wildlife that survives and thrives in such harsh conditions. You can see that we were built of tougher stuff, I guess is the way I want to put it. So nature can be very revitalizing, especially sometimes when you think you can't make it, you get outside and you see how everything has its seasons and everything goes into hibernation and then comes out. And it's just very beautiful to watch the cycles of nature. All right, number 33, master number 33. Speak to yourself with kindness. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. That's a hard one, but I catch myself saying something sometimes, and I'm like, why would you wouldn't tell your child that. You wouldn't tell a friend that or a client that. Why do you talk to yourself that way? And so, yeah, sometimes we got to listen to what we're saying in our own minds. Speak to yourself with kindness. The stories we tell ourselves can create the patterns by which we live. In our daily lives, the words that we choose to speak over ourselves can deeply influence how we think and how we act. We are often unaware of just how critical our self-talk can be, or how often we engage in it. If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to review your self-talk. I think the next review I do, I'm going to have to hide my birds in my bedroom and close the door. They're so noisy. All right, up next is number 32, set boundaries. Claim your power and know your value today. You know, a lot of these pictures don't really seem to go hand in hand with the message. But this seems to be like an ancient, maybe garden pathway, and there's another portal, and it looks like a eclipse. Two women walking. 32 breaks down to a 5. It says set boundaries. Setting boundaries can often be an awkward and uncomfortable thing to do. No is a powerful word, one that many of us have been taught to shy away from. We may feel as though it is our responsibility to create happiness or pleasure for others by saying yes, but this should not have to come at the cost of ourselves. If you have pulled this card, then it is most certainly time to utilize the word no more frequently in your own life. That's a hard one for me as a Cancer. All right, number 31, seek guidance in this. It is time for a different perspective. That's almost like a hangman energy. Many times in life, we come to a place where we need to make a decision. And in these moments, we might experience confusion or a lack of clarity. Calling on the insight of a trusted friend can be extremely beneficial, as gaining another's perspective can help bring about new revelations we might not have seen for ourselves. If you have pulled this card, it might be time to seek guidance on the many options you have before you. It's kind of cool. Look at this guy. He's got wings, butterfly wings. He's like the guru, right? All right, what do we got next? Say yes. Bada bing. Number 30. Now is the time to be open and receive. Being truly open to life can be a bit unnerving. There are so many possibilities and unknowns, and we could never analyze them all. While there is much wisdom in weighing the options before us, sometimes there will be aspects of the future that we can never truly know until we walk that road. It is in these moments that we have to take a leap of faith and say yes. If you have pulled this card, now might be the time to open up and receive. And you know, I do this with myself a lot. If there's an opportunity or a situation that comes up that I have trepidation around or worry about, I often ask my higher self, is this an experience I want to have? And if the answer is yes, then I take that leap of faith and I just give it a whirl. And, you know, you're a powerful creator. You can always change your mind. You're never sewed in. Now, you know, maybe with marriage and stuff like that, you can still change your mind. It's just not as easy because once you make a commitment that way. But I always recommend you don't make those kind of commitments until you've already decided whether or not that situation is something that you want to take a leap of faith in. All right, moving on. We have number 29, run wild. Let your inner wild child run forth. That's like Page of Wands energy. It's also master number 11 because it's a 29, breaks down to 11. Says, there is a wild aspect to being a child, a sort of carefree naivety. I can't pronounce that, guys. Naivety. Naivety. Let's just say a carefree naiveness, okay? Partnered with an intense connection to our senses. Children feel things more deeply and experience the world more through their bodies than through their minds. They have little care for how things are supposed to be. While this is obviously not a place that we can continually reside in as adults, there is a magic to be had in connecting with this mindset again. So run wild. Sometimes you just got to go for it. I love to travel, and I never really plan my travels unless there's an event that I'm going to. I'm kind of, that's how I like to let my inner child run wild, is if I have the money in my account, or even if it's just gas or whatever, and I'm feeling like I need to just travel, I just do it on a whim. I'll look up, a flight, find the cheapest one, pack a bag, and leave. Or I'll get in my car and decide to go visit a friend or just go explore a new city, or I've always been like that. I need to do it again. I haven't done it in a while. All right, number 28. Did I show that to you guys? I was so busy talking. Number 28, review your responsibilities. Not all responsibilities are ours to hold. God. I'm a Cancer. I'm a double Cancer. Cancer sun and Cancer rising. And then I'm a Virgo moon. I'm a Cancer sun, Virgo moon, Cancer rising, Virgo Venus. So, can you spell over dependent, giving, nurturing, and a sense of duty? My North Node is Taurus. All right. Review your responsibilities. Not all responsibilities are ours to hold. Taking responsibility is binary in nature, and like a coin, there will always be two sides to it. On one side, if the responsibility is not ours to hold, it can be draining and harmful. On the other side, if the responsibility is ours to hold, it can be very empowering. There are certain aspects of ourselves that only we can be responsible for. Otherwise, we are giving our personal power away. Moreover, if we hold responsibility for another person, it can hinder their growth process and possibly damage our relationship with them. If you've pulled this card, then there might be an imbalance in your life regarding responsibilities. Whew. I draw that one probably every reading. All right, up next is number 27. Pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. I certainly hope I've been holding these to where you can see them. Or I'll have to redo the whole video. All right, pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. Throughout life, harmful events can occur that bring about a splintering of the inner self. Get down, kitty. Hey! Hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. I told you, I'm an animal lover. My cat's telling the birds to shut up by attacking their cage. All right. Throughout life, harmful events can occur that bring about splintering of the inner self. This separation within the self can be a necessary survival tool when our inner world becomes overwhelmed and we are unable to process our current events. However, the inner self will always desire reconciliation of these splintered aspects, and because of this, these banished parts will experience pain as long as there is separation. By pulling these splintered aspects of the self close in love and acceptance, we can bring healing to our inner world. Sounds a little bit like soul retrieval, When we experience trauma, we do splinter off. We have aspects of our inner child that can't handle the trauma and decides to kind of go somewhere else or hide in the shadows, right? And so pulling yourself close is a way of expressing self-love. It's honoring the shadow parts of yourself, the parts that aren't as pretty to look at, that aren't as easy to feel or experience. All right, moving on. Well, we're moving on up. All right, we got number 26, practice freedom. Release the weight of judgment. Breaking free, guys, breaking free. That's what I did when I got my divorce. I was like, I'm out of here after 20 years. All right, judgments that we or others have placed upon us can shackle us, stealing our joy and will to fully embody our life. It is a heavy burden to carry the weight of judgment, and it can keep us trapped in a cycle of fear and blame. If you pulled this card, it might be time to consider whether you are being held prisoner by others' judgments or your own. Wow. Look at that beautiful, I don't know if that's an eagle. It looks like an eagle. All right, up next is 25. Listen, your inner child has something to say. Our inner child is comprised of the many different aspects of childhood we experienced growing up. There is a 1-year-old inner child, a 10-year-old inner child, an 18-year-old inner child, and an inner child for every age in between. At various times in our lives, different aspects of our inner child will need to be heard. This card indicates that an aspect of your inner child, one you may have not met with yet, has a message for you. So this is about intuition. Look, and it's the same picture as the inside of the bottom of the box. So this is the inner child, and it's time to listen to that inner child. All right, up next, 24, let love guide you. Choose to see the good in the world today. This is almost like that nature feeling or explanation that I gave you. You know, sometimes we feel like everything's just a roadblock, right? But look at this person. They're out in the middle of nature, and they're seeing that everything has purpose. It's such a tapestry of creation, of death and rebirth and renewal and movement. It's just so beautiful. It says, let love guide you. Choose to see the good in the world today. There is magic all around us, woven. Isn't it funny I said woven? Fabric, isn't that tapestry? That's exactly what I was getting. Channeling. There is a magic all around us, woven throughout the fabric of existence. It weaves its threads within our lives, stretching between hearts, embracing souls, and wrapping itself within us. It is that spark, that feeling of home, that smile upon the face of a beloved friend. It is the good we see in the world and the good we carry deep inside of us all. Even so, at times we can lose sight of this good. If you pulled this card, then it may be time to see that magic again. Wow. All right. Up next, number 23, which breaks down to a 5, guys. Time for change. It says, let it go. Let go of all that no longer serves you. It's like the tree is shedding its leaves. It is in our nature as humans to hold tightly to what is familiar. Knowing the weight and measure of what we carry. Listen, guys, you're going to have to get quiet. See, the minute I stop talking, they get quiet. Huh. Sorry, guys. The next video, I'll move them to another room. All right, let it go. It is in our nature as humans to hold tightly to what is familiar. Knowing the weight and measure of what we carry can bring us a greater sense of comfort. Oftentimes, the known seems to be the wiser choice compared to the unknown. It is important to be aware that just as a tree shapes itself around a known obstacle that has forced it to take a new path, these things we hold tightly to can also change the course of our destiny. If you've pulled this card, then it might be time to reflect on what you need to release and let go. Listen to how quiet. If only we could have that during the whole reading. All right, number 22, let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. I just said this to a dear friend last night who has been experiencing some heartbreak in a relationship. And she's a badass, you know. She doesn't like to grieve or to be weak. And I told her, I said, girl, everybody feels pain when they've experienced a loss. So honor that pain, give it a name, give it a voice, and have a good ugly cry. So give yourself permission to feel it, whatever it is, right? Because it could be beautiful or it could be painful. It says, many things occur in life that we may be unable to process. And most, if not all, of these unprocessed events and emotions can be stored inside of us. If you've pulled this card, then it might mean there is a repressed emotion, memory. Sorry, guys. Or aspect of the self that is hindering you in your current situation. As repressed emotions can subconsciously fuel many of our behaviors and our interactions within the world, it can be beneficial to explore this. All right. Up next is let go of the past. It is time to envision a new story. I'm watching my birds. They're watching me. They're like, are you going to talk more? Because if you are, I'm going to get loud again. All right, let go of the past. The past is a complex thing. It can hold for us all the core elements of who we have come to be. Our very essence and identity. Sometimes we can be conflicted about our story and how it has unfolded. Maybe we identify with one aspect more than another, or maybe we have rejected the past completely. However it may be, however we view the past can have a drastic impact on how we view the present. If you pulled this card, then it may be time to look at how your beliefs about the past might be shaping your actions in your present. Yep, there's trauma, right? Whenever you've experienced trauma, it definitely triggers the ego to become hypersensitive to experiencing anything new. Because you never know, it might hurt, right? So when you let go of the past, there's none of that programming left. Number 20, it is time to celebrate. Cultivate an air of celebration today. Celebration is such a wonderful experience in this life, one that can bring about a sense of community and pleasure. Even the smallest of reasons to celebrate is reason enough, as it is the spirit of celebration and not necessarily the physical adornments that makes a gathering of people something extraordinary. If you've pulled this card, then it might be time to cultivate an air of celebration this week through action and spirit. In addition, this card could mean that it is time for you to celebrate yourself and your accomplishments. This practice can be done with others or by yourself, but the key aspect is to focus on what you have already accomplished, not what might be waiting for you in the future. If we do not celebrate ourselves in our current moments, then it might be hard to celebrate ourselves in our future moments as well. Such pretty artwork. I wish it was a little larger though. It's like landscapey. Number 19, it is never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. Number 19 breaks down to a 10, which is, of course, endings. It is never truly the end, though, because an ending, a 10, is also the vibration of 1, and endings, therefore, bring new beginnings. And so, although one thing may end, a new beginning is birthed through it. All right. Number 19. Endings are an inevitable part of the rhythm of life. They are bittersweet in nature and can seem to come at the least opportune moments. Though it is often true that when one door closes, another one opens. This might not always be what we would wish for at the time, and it doesn't always bring us the comfort we desire. Many times, the open doors that endings create can bring about conflicting emotions within. If you have pulled this card, allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel around this current ending in your life. It's like the 5 stages of grief, right? You got to get to acceptance. All right, up next is number 18. It is okay. Did I hold it up? I don't know if I held it up. It is okay to be misunderstood. Perception is not always based on the truth. To be misunderstood is to be human. We each have a story of when our words and actions were perceived in the wrong manner. Every one of us experiences life through our own personal lens of fears, desires, beliefs, and pains, which often leads to miscommunication and misunderstandings. It can feel overwhelming when this occurs, as we derive a sense of safety from those around us being able to understand how we see the world. You know, we have filters, and a lot of those filters were created through trauma. And so, you know, when you're dealing with the inner child, how we see and perceive things are based upon the experiences of our past. And the way others see and perceive things are based on the experiences of their past. And so when their past and our past are not the same, there can often be misunderstandings. And so to be understood in a situation where you are misunderstood, at times there may be an opportunity to tell your side of the story. If not, then be at peace within yourself, knowing that that person received whatever happened in the way that they have experienced trauma. And so remember, hurt people, and healed people, heal people. All right. Moving on now. Oh, look at the Pegasus. Is that a Pegasus? Yes, it is. I love Pegasus. Number 17, go on an adventure. Today's the day to try something daring. Yeah, every day for me, I wish was like that. I love to live life vicariously or exploratorily. So number 17 breaks down to an 8. It says go on an adventure. To go on an adventure is to awaken the explorer within. There is much joy to be had in adopting the spirit of exploration, even for a day. As children, life was a remarkable journey into the unknown, and remembering that excitement can help bring our joyful inner child to the surface. If you pulled this card, then it may be time to try something new today. I was just reminiscing through my mind of all my adventures. Boy, I could make a whole video on my teenage and early 20-somethings. I was quite the adventurer. I was the rebel child. And I literally threw a dart at a map and bought a bus ticket and went to some place I'd never been. At the age of 17 and a half, I had already, well, my class had graduated. I was a July baby, so I left right before my birthday, my 18th birthday. Anyhow, I ended up in Moultrie, Georgia, and I had so many adventures. Someday I might just make a video. All right, up next is number 16, go inward. It is time to connect with your inner child. Well, of course. All right, breaks down to a 7, guys. 7s are about exploring our next moves. It's the pause before the next action. 7s are very lucky too, as are 8s. So we have one powerful way to connect with your inner child can be through visualization. This is the practice of seeing with your mind's eye. While your physical eyes are closed, this practice can be a bit tricky for some in the beginning. So if you have never tried working with visualization, do not worry if it is a slow process. You will get there in the end. Yeah, I've done guided meditations where they walk you through a scene or scenic. And it's funny because I have such a hard time visualizing what they're talking about. But once I get into the meditation and kind of lose the control of the ego, not only do I see what they see, but I also start seeing things that my own mind is creating. And so visualization can be very beneficial for doing inner work. All right, up next is get lost. Fall deep into the realm of imagination. Look at, I was just talking about that. I don't know why, but at Christmas time, it reminds me of when I was a kid, my mom's mom, my grandmother, she used to own her own ceramic shop, and she taught ceramics, and she had the most beautiful, I don't even know what happened to it. I think it might have got destroyed in my sister's house fire, but there was the most beautiful nativity scene made of ceramics. And I remember that we had lost the baby Jesus, and I found a little Santa, a little tiny Santa that fit in the manger perfectly. And I had a whole imaginatory story that I created and made up around why Santa was the Messiah, the child, the Savior, right? Of course, it was a child. I was a child. But I remember getting lost for hours. I would play for hours. I would play with Barbie dolls and ants. I'd let ants crawl on me and play with them and name them. As a child, I had quite the imagination. So it's time again to fall into the deep realm of imagination and get lost. Have you ever gotten lost in your travels only to find an unknown treasure along the way? A treasure that could only be found if you had not known your way? As adults, we pride ourselves on knowing the way we should go and following it. But as children, the way we felt we should go was always the way we found ourselves to already be. There is magic in these lost places, for only when you do not know the way are we open enough for something unexpected to find us. If you have pulled this card, then it might be time to allow yourself to get a little lost. All right, up next, flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. They're dancing, they're celebrating. All right. When we were children, dance and movement were natural parts of our being. We knew intuitively how to find joy in rhythm and how to express that joy with our bodies. Moving along the way, we were told that our expressions were not good enough to be considered dance. But the truth is that every dance in existence was first made up by the intuitive movement. Like so much in this world, the art of dancing is a subjective one, and you get to decide how to participate in it. If you've pulled this card, then it may be time to dance. I don't have a lot of rhythm. I do when it comes to singing. I sing professionally, but I do not have much boogie in my step. All right, up next is Find Your Haven, number 13. There's a place of wonder waiting just for you. Find your haven. You know, when I got my divorce, my life changed so drastically. I felt very lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I would enjoy doing. I didn't know what I needed to do next. And so I dabbled, you know. I bought a new instrument, learned how to play a song on it. I took up painting and drawing, and I did crocheting, you know, lots of arts and crafty stuff. I went line dancing. I just tried as many new things as I could. And a lot of them I found I didn't enjoy much, but there were some things that I truly did enjoy. And those are the things that are your haven, right? It's how you have to go on a discovery journey in order to find that place of wonder that is waiting for you. Okay. Find your haven. As children, we sought out secret places that were hidden and special. We found them while climbing up a tree or lying in the tall grass. We built forts of pillows and sheets, tents of sticks and branches, homes of imagination and magic. We strung up fairy lights and collected trinkets and treasures for our special place. We read our stories there and ate our forbidden treats there. It was a place all our own. If you've pulled this card, it may be time to find a hideaway once again. My bedroom is my haven. I've got my fairy lights. I got my tarot cupboard. I've got my, you know, I decorated it with my magical, colorful mandalas and just all kinds of cool stuff, crystals, and that's kind of my magic place. All right, up next we have Emotions Are the Reflection, number 12. Look for the deeper meaning. So I saw an oracle card once, and I took a screenshot of it. It was another reader on YouTube that was using this deck, and she never mentioned the name of the deck, which to this day annoys me because I actually commented underneath the video asking, could you please tell me what deck that was? Because there was a picture of a man standing in an art gallery in front of this giant, it looked like a mirror, only it was all water. And coming out of the picture was this huge wave heading for the man. And underneath it, it says, create through your emotions. And it really, I don't know why, it really spoke to me. I was like, oh my God, our emotions really, truly are the reason we create. You know, if you're unhappy, you create through the lens of that emotion. And if you're happy, you create through the lens of that emotion. And so it really resonated with me. So emotions are the reflection. It is the mirror. And if you look deeper into what you're feeling, you will see also what you are creating through that emotion. And so look for the deeper meaning. I like that. So emotions are the reflection. Emotions can often indicate how an event is affecting your inner child. When you experience an unusually intense emotional response to a present situation, it may be a sign that an aspect of your inner child is hurting. Since your inner child can carry many different wounds from childhood into your present moments as an adult, when intense emotions do arise, it is good to take a moment to sit with them and with your hurting inner child. Sometimes, if you've been traumatized a lot, you block out memories of your childhood, and it's hard to do that inner child work until you have a cognitive memory of what's actually creating the emotion. So it's often helpful to get somebody like me or another reader or even a hypnotherapist or a therapist to help you kind of remember the trauma that happened that's actually evoking that emotion and that trigger. And that's truly when we start doing shadow work, is when we start remembering and retrieving, soul retrieval, remember? Those memories so that we can deal with them. As an adult, we are better equipped to handle and deal with those childhood wounds. So emotions are the reflection. I already did that one, right? Yeah, I already read that one. All right, up next is 11, master number 11. Do what you need to do. It may be difficult, but now is the time. What we want and what we need can be two very different things. When this is the case, our wants and needs can differ between self-indulgence and self-care. If you've pulled this card today, it might be time to reflect on the difference between these two in your life. Honoring self-indulgence is a wonderful way to connect with ourselves, especially when done mindfully. Self-care can require us to do things that might be uncomfortable or unpleasant in the moment, but will benefit us in the long run. That's a hard one, guys. It really is, especially in relationships. I'm one of these people that have a hard time cutting people out of my life, even when I know that they're bringing in a lot of heavy energy and experiences and drama and chaos. But I'm a Cancer, and I tend to want to fix people. And I know now that that is probably not the best way to handle things, because when you try to fix others, it's usually because you're avoiding trying to fix self. So, sometimes we have to do what we need to do and just let whatever consequences happen and then deal with the cleanup later. It's called a tower moment, right? So what we want and what we need, I already read it. Listen, guys, I'm getting involved in these cards. All right. It may be difficult, but now is the time to do it, right? Whatever it is for you. So we have 10. Disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. Disappointment can be a difficult emotion to experience, and afterward it can be hard to have hope again. It is okay to be disappointed. Disappointment is an aspect of life that is inevitable, and being human is a messy journey, full of twists and turns. We do the best we can within the knowledge we have, but not everything turns out as we had hoped. In truth, no disappointments or mistakes make us any less of the beautiful, wonderful people that we are. If you've pulled this card, it might be a sign that the fear of disappointment is hindering your path. Practice courage and acceptance. There is always hope, beloved, and happiness is waiting for you just ahead. Listen, this is not an easy life. It is not an easy planet to be on. It's Earth School. Our souls came here to refine ourselves, to ascend, to, go through the dips, the valleys, and the peaks, and the good times and the bad times, because all of those is duality. And without the dark, the light would never be recognized. And without the light, the dark could never exist. Or wait, let me say that again. Without the light, the dark could never be dissipated. All right. Up next is connect to eternity within. Let yourself be held by love. A lot of these cards are very beautiful and they have beautiful messages, but there are some cards that are basically the same message, only brought in a different tone. And that's also duality, right? Because one card might hit home for you where another card that's basically a similar message may not. So we have within us lies hundreds of worlds, thousands of lives, and millions of possibilities. We are infinite, stretching forever into the expanse of the universe. As beings of stardust and sunfire, we carry eternity within us. It is in our remembrance of our essence that we find stillness and a peace that extends past the borders of time. If you've pulled this card, it is time to connect with that eternity once more. Take some time today to go into your inner worlds and connect with the expanse of the divine. As I'm reading it, I'm thinking, I'm living here in this trailer and I've got these birds and I've got this dog and I got an indoor cat and an outdoor cat. I've got a 15-year-old child. I'm having all these different experiences. They're different facets and aspects of my life. But the person living right next door to me, not even, I don't know, maybe 100 feet or more, maybe a few more away from me, could be living and probably are living a very, very, very different lifestyle, in the same proximity, but a very different timeline. They might be more positive than me. They might have a better life than me. They might have more difficulties than me. They might have a lower vibration than me. They might have different ailments. I mean, everybody is very unique. And so when it says that there are billions of lives inside of you, what creates those lives is decisions. I chose to live here. I chose to buy birds. I chose to get a dog. I chose to get a cat, 2 cats. Actually, the dog I chose back when I was married and my ex-husband passed away and I inherited her, which I should have done when I first got divorced, but he didn't want to lose her, and so I left her behind. But now she's home where she belongs. But my point is that every decision you make is actually creative in nature. And so connecting with the eternity of all that is knowing that you're always just one decision away from a whole new experience. And so when you feel like everything's the same day after day after day, you can reconnect to that infinite possible collective and create something totally new or just slightly new. You know, that's what happens when you remodel. There's something fun about creating change. But make sure you're the creator of it, or at least try to be in control of what you can be in control of. It goes back to that serenity prayer, right? God grant me serenity to accept what I can't control, courage to control what I can, and wisdom to know the difference. But to connect to that infinite possibility is a very beautiful place to be. All right, up next is number 8. Choose yourself today. Do not deny your importance. Our inner child has always been sensitive to a promise broken, a desire disregarded, or a hope lost. It is paramount that we show our inner child, and by default, our present selves, that they are important to us through our actions. Again, what you think about, you bring about. What you choose, you create. What you participate and say yes to, you are accountable for. So choose yourself, choose your happiness, choose your highest timeline. Do not deny the importance of your own free will choice. All right, next is breathe in. Practice breath work today. I have asthma and I should do this more often. I really should, because I find myself, breathing shallow, or sometimes I even hold my breath. I don't realize I'm doing it until I take a deep breath and I'm like, oh, I was actually holding my breath. So breath work is very important to moving our life force energy and chi through our organs and our bloodstream. That oxygen is so important. So we have breathe in, or we breathe in and we breathe out. This is such a simple yet momentous thing. Our breath brings life to our bodies and has the power to bring peace to our souls. If you've pulled this card, then it might be time to focus on your breath today. All right, we're almost there, guys. Next is number 6, become aware. Look at that beautiful cheetah. Listen to the wisdom of the body. Oh, this is a hard one for me. When you, for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into it, but for whatever reason, when you start hating on your body, when you start criticizing it and mistreating it and doing things that you know are killing it, it will speak to you. I'm telling you, every time I have a food problem. I always have. I've had a weight issue and food choices. I like comfort foods. I like foods that I know are not good for me. And when you become aware and listen to the wisdom of your body, it'll speak to you. I'm telling you, every time I go to the refrigerator, which I stockpile healthy foods, and occasionally buy junk food. Not a lot, just a little bit. There are times when I go and reach for that junk food, and my inner knowing will say that you have all these beautiful, colorful, healthy options. Why don't you choose one of those and treat your body to a true treat? And it gets a little annoying sometimes, because I call it my higher self. It probably is my higher self. But I have a voice in my head that really is like carrying around a guru and a teacher that makes me aware and mindful of the things that I don't want to be made aware and mindful of. And so if you listen to the wisdom of that inner voice, or the wisdom of your body, if it's hurting, the pain tells you something. Where it's hurting, it tells you something. Louise Hay put out a book, and don't ask me the name because I won't be able to think of it at the moment, but it's all about dis-ease in the body and the emotional attachments or experiences that create it. So that might be something you want to look into. I wish I could tell you the title, but I can't. But if you listen to the wisdom of the body, it will always tell you what you need to know in order to heal. So we have our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. They hold for us our feelings, memories, and states of being, a living library of the subconscious. There is a beauty in this collective, but there can also be pain, particularly for the inner child. Because of this, it is good to practice becoming aware of our body's current state of being. All right, up next is number 5, be true to who you are. Another Pegasus. Oh, look at with the beautiful white butterfly or moth wings. Look how beautiful. 5s are about change, guys. Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. Well, it can. It can, but I think this card is talking about, you know, there are times in our lives where we can't help but sparkle and shine. And even though we're afraid to be seen or to be heard, others sometimes, especially intuitive or connected others, will see the beauty and the shine emanating from you, even when you're afraid to purposely put it out there. So let's see what the book says. Safety, identity, and connection are all beautiful aspects of life that we crave to know and have. Sometimes, in our search for these treasures, we can lose touch with ourselves along the way. The fear of not being a part of a collective or of not finding the connections we need to feel safe can lead us to betray who we really are. Yeah, dim our light, right? We may choose to mold ourselves to existing patterns and expectations of the people around us, and in doing so, miss out on the unfolding of our true selves. If you have pulled this card, then there may be an aspect of yourself or your inner child that has been betrayed in order to be accepted by someone or something. Amen. All I got to say. All right, number 4, be still. Cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be. Wow. Monkey mind, be still, right? So within stillness, there is an invitation of being. As we move throughout our day, we most often take the well-worn paths we walk each day without questioning their benefit to our lives, which can sometimes leave us feeling disconnected. Stillness can be a way to initiate connection with our senses and with our inner being. It is also helpful in connecting with our inner child, as sometimes we need stillness to hear the voice within. Yeah, that's hard for a lot of people, me included. You know, I think that was the benefit, if any benefit at all, came out of the lockdowns or the shutdowns for the health reasons, was it gave everybody, it took away everybody's busy and created a place of stillness where they had to deal with their emotions. They had to deal with their demons. They had to sit quietly. And I think it birthed a lot of awakening in people. And, you know, that's why I say the great creator, no energy is ever wasted. Even in the darkest moments and in the darkest of times, creator source will use that energy to also give birth and flight to something beautiful. So cultivate a space of stillness and silence just to be. Oh, look how pretty that one is. Look at that big old eye and the angel wings. It says, be present. Find clarity in the moment. That's like be still, right? Let's see how they spin it in this one. The only time we possess is the time we are presently in. While it is prudent to plan for the future and wise to remember the past, the present is where our life truly resides. If we outsourced our happiness to future plans or past memories, then we lose the gift of the present day. In the end, our life will amount to the collection of our many small moments, the moments of the everyday. If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to focus on what is in front of you now. Wow. Phew, that one gave me a hot flash. All right, up next is accept what is. The act of acceptance will bring peace, especially when you've already exercised all other aspects. You know, it's a human nature to continue seeking ways to create the outcome you desire. But there are times in our lives, like I said, destined moments, fated moments or fated events that our soul, our higher self, chose long before we incarnated to learn through multiple, probably, lifetimes or existences, whether on this planet or others. And so when those kind of things happen, we have to kind of accept them. And that can be very difficult. We have to do it slowly and we have to take time with it. But the act of acceptance always brings peace. It's the final stage of grief, right? Is where you just get to, I can't fix it, I can't change it, I don't have the power or authority to bring a different outcome. Sometimes we may have created that outcome, but once it's done, right? There's no uncreating it. There's no traveling back in time and making different choices. So acceptance is the only way to get to the point of peace. Just accept it for what it is. Look for the value of it. There's always value in it. And allow yourself to just say, you know, I cannot change this, so I have to accept it. And when you get there, peace will overcome. So acceptance of what is, without the veil of judgment, can help us find peace in the uncertainties of this life. If you've pulled this card, it might be time to practice acceptance regarding a certain aspect of your life, either for your inner child or for something that is occurring in your present moments. For both, the practice of acceptance will be the same. Okay, sarah, right? All right, last card, guys. We got through it. I really, truly apologize for the noise. I mean, I've got the furnace that's right. The furnace is central, so no matter where I go, you're going to hear it. But the birds on my next video are going someplace quiet because they're a bit much to handle. So last card is a time to remember. Look back on your childhood. Now, if you're able to, I mean, we're all able to see certain aspects of our childhood, but if you've experienced a lot of trauma, some of your childhood might be missing. There might be memories or gaps in that childhood. That's why there's a time to remember it, right? And if you can't recall it on your own, then there's always regression, hypnotherapy, there's journaling. I found that meditation and journaling brought forth a lot of stuff. Dealing with the memories you do remember and healing and forgiving and moving through those moments can also create a remembrance of something that you had forgotten. So this card, of course, is calling you to look back on those moments and to sit with them. So a photograph can be a powerful tool when working with our inner selves. You know, another thing I do with some of my clients is if they're grieving somebody or if they had a childhood trauma, but they're having a hard time remembering parts of that trauma, which is because the inner child is so traumatized, doesn't want to remember it, doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't want to experience it. But in order to do true shadow work, we kind of have to deal with those memories or try to recall those memories. So with a lot of my clients, I'll say, well, what kind of perfume or cologne did the person that hurt you or traumatized you or abused you or bullied you or avoided you or abandoned you or whatever, what scents, smells can bring you back to that moment, because that can trigger a memory too that you have deeply hidden or buried. Smells and tastes, cook one of the dishes that you ate as a child. There are ways to conjure up the memories that have been lost to us because of trauma. And you can do that with happy memories too. I mean, of course, when you're grieving somebody, you miss your mother. What was her favorite perfume? Wear it for a couple of days and sit quietly and ask her to come to you and give you a message. Or, a favorite blanket or a color or a flower or whatever. So, a time to remember. A photograph can be a powerful tool when working with our inner selves, as it can bring, I already read this, didn't I? To the present, the memories and feelings associated with our childhood. This can be an especial beneficial practice, particularly when working through harmful patterns or beliefs that we might have regarding our childhood self. All right, so to my Secret Santa, this was a long video. I don't know what you wanted. I don't know if you just wanted a quick flip through or if you wanted me to read from the book. But this is the way I chose to do it. I think it's a beautiful way to really see what the deck is all about. And for anybody out there shopping for decks, I myself have gone to YouTube and looked up flip throughs or deep looks at the decks. And so I hope this resonated with you. I hope you liked the deck. I am so grateful that you brought it to me. Doing this for me also brings energy into my deck. It brings energy and channeling. It's a way for me to become intimate with the deck as well. So thank you very much. Again, this was the Inner Child Oracle. It's a 44-card deck and guidebook to heal your past and embrace your future, done by Amanda Lynn Aisling. And you can purchase it. The recommended price in the U.S. is $19.99. I don't know what my Secret Santa paid for it, but I am so very, very grateful. And I'm going to leave this here. I love you guys. Namaste.